Hey, how's it going? So before I kick this video off, that behind me there is Albert. It's quite an impressive statue. And that behind me is the Royal Albert Hall. So welcome to West London. Right, so latest update. I said that somebody had offered very kindly to supply me with 90 days worth of LiveWave patches. I've got them right here. We've got the glutathione, we've got the carnosine, and we've got the Aeon. The idea is that these three patches placed on the knee in a specific position could help regenerate cartilage in the knee. Why would that help me? If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I have a degenerative meniscal tear on the medial side, the inside of my knee. I've had it scanned and confirmed by a surgeon. They've said that you cannot do anything with it. And actually, a word on that, I did some research into red light therapy because I have access to a red light unit. It's a very good one. And I said to him, hey, what about a red light unit? Could that help me? And he said, absolutely not, waste of your time. And I had done my own research, and it's not the case. No, red light therapy has been shown to help my condition. So I was really disappointed that he just dismissed that out of hand. And so I really think that you have to do your own research. So that's off on a bit of a tangent. Anyway, I've been given these 90 days of patches, and I will start to use them. In addition to that, this is Hyde Park, by the way. It's one of our most beautiful parks in London. In addition to the patches, the person who said that you don't need to mention who I am, so I won't, of course I'll honour that, has said that in addition to the patches, it would be great to take some nutritional supplements, and I'm going to try and remember now, I think it's 2,500 milligrams of vitamin C. Please, nothing I'm going to say in this video is medical advice. Treat everything I say as purely for entertainment purposes. Always speak to your doctor first. Don't listen to a thing I say. So vitamin C, 2,500 milligrams, a high quality olive oil. There's a way you can rate the quality of the oil. You can find out the rating rather. A curcumin based product, ideally housed in a lipid, so that it's got higher uptake into the joint, and a couple of other things. So use the patches with these nutraceuticals, and let's see what happens to my knee. I stopped using the X39 patch for maybe 3 weeks now, and I do think I've noticed the knee pain has got worse. What can I say about that? I've seen so many comments on the channel about people who say they've used the X39 and got great results. I've had some people who, funnily enough, they always seem quite angry and as if they've got a bee in their bonnet, as we say in the UK, saying, I tried it and it never worked. So, you know, make of that what you will. You can have a read through the comments. They've just all happened organically. But yeah, there are, I would say, from what I've seen, a lot of testimonials for people who say they've got a result from the X39. So as soon as I'm in a position to do so, I am going to go back on the X39, and I will give it a solid at least 6 months straight through. I think it could be really good. Now, I've done a bit of reading into the patches, so at least I can come into this video and maybe say a bit more about what they do. I still am definitely not the expert on them, but I think I can say this, that our body does emit heat, infrared heat, and that the patches trap that heat and reflect it back into the body at a certain wavelength. There's materials in the patches, there's no drug, and that affects change in the body. And I've got actually something which to me is really exciting that I found out about the patches. I looked up the carnosine patch, which I just showed you a minute ago. I think is it with a silver writing, on the internet, and I stumbled upon a journal I think it's in the American Heart Association journal, which I actually don't know the strength of that journal, but I would imagine it's, well, to be determined, let's say. And they used the LiveWave carnosine patch, and the patch yeah, it affected change in the subjects. Granted, again, it was a small sample size, a small number of people in the study, but they measured a change in the body from using the carnosine patch. It stimulated greater carnosine activity and the function of these subjects' hearts. So I get it when people look at the patch and say, how could that possibly do anything? Oh, is this one of those companies that's selling snake oil or something? I get it. You know, I'm maybe more skeptical than the average guy, but I try to counter that by being extra open-minded, if that makes sense. All I can say is I've just found another journal where they've used the LiveWave patch and measured a change in subjects' bodies. I don't know, like, yeah, like, I guess you could try and argue against that, or, you know, yeah, to me, I'm very real, and I'll call it as it is. It's looking good for these patches. There are a ton of testimonials. I've now found, granted only 2 studies, but I found 2 studies. Some people having a lot of fun over there. But I've now found 2 studies where I guess the biggest question one could have is, how can that work, and does it work? And I guess the more significant question is, does it work, you know, even if you don't know the mechanism by which it works. And I've now found 2 studies, irrefutable, where yes, they have measured change in the body from the patches. I guess, yes, you could try and argue against that somehow and dismiss it out. That's fine. I think that you get to a point in life where you have to accept that there are contrarians, there are doubters, and they have their right to do that. I'm just giving you my honest account, and all I can say is, yes, it's a bit weird, these devices, but it looks like phototherapy. It is a real thing, and it looks like it may really work. They're not cheap, but yeah, what can I say? So I'm going to do this 90-day knee protocol, and let's see what happens to my knee. Now, it's really useful to have some kind of a scale of measurement. So what I'm going to do is give just my day-to-day knee pain, and then the knee pain when I'm sat in this position. Let's try and show this here. So if I'm sat with my knee crossed over and there's lateral force going through the knee because of the pressure, that is what triggers pain in the knee. And I would say at the moment the knee pain has gone up slightly since I was using the X39. So pre-X39, I would say that the knee pain was it was quite bad at one point, but let's say on average it was maybe 5 to 6 out of 10 during the day, and I just wouldn't sit with my right knee crossed over my left leg at all because of the lateral pressure. It was very uncomfortable. And when you've sat that way for your whole life, and you're forced to put your opposite leg over, that's quite a change to make, you know. So let's say before, the pain in the knee was like a 6 out of 10, and if my leg was crossed over, in fact, I just wouldn't do it, but let's say that would cause like a 7 or 8 out of 10 discomfort. Then toward the end of me using the X39, which was about 5 months use, I would say the pain dropped during the day to like a 3 or 4 out of 10, so not totally, but 30%, say. And if my knee was crossed over, I would say that went down from a 7 or 8 out of 10 to a 4 or 5, I think. And it's really hard. These are not hard and fast measurements. It's subjective, of course. So that is the pain before the X39, and then after 5 months worth of use. And now that I've had 3 weeks off of the X39, I would say the pain has maybe gone up slightly, maybe during the day, to like a constant sort of 4 or 5 out of 10. But if I cross my knee over, that's become quite uncomfortable at times again. I would say like a 5 or 6 out of 10. So yeah, there are some measurement scales. I'll put those in the description, and then I'm going to do this 90 days with the nutritional supplements as well. And yeah, we'll see how this this protocol works. It would be a beautiful thing if it works. I did look on the website to see what does Aeon, carnosine and the glutathione patch do. I have to be honest, that's Buckingham Palace behind me there, by the way. I have to be honest and say that it doesn't give much away. I think glutathione, it says, sort of reduces skin wrinkles and promotes well-being. Aeon, it helps you to relax and feel a sense of well-being. And carnosine, you know, that's not, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing on the website, but there isn't much. It doesn't really give you that much. And also to say is I spoke to somebody who knows a lot about the patches, and they said they're the two best patches in LiveWave are the X39 and Aeon. I don't know why they said that. Maybe they've just heard the most testimonials personally from those two. Yeah, I also want to say a massive thank you to the person who's made this possible. They are a Christian, and in the Bible it says when you're giving a gift or charity or helping, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Basically, don't do it for show. And when you pray, also don't do it for show. You do it in private. I know some belief systems, they make a real public show out of praying. And yeah, I really admire that. They've given this to me and said, you don't need to let anybody know who I am. I mean, it's a lot of money they've sponsored me with. So yeah, I really admire that. I really respect it. And thank you again. Let's see how this goes. 90 days on this. I would say that I still don't know much about the patches, how they work and what they do. All I will say is that just since I started this channel, there are a ton of testimonials and comments. So yeah, thanks so much for that. I hope this channel helps people. If I can get a result, then yeah, maybe they can help you too. And I've had a few people reach out and ask for a link for a discount on the patches, and bear with me, I'll get that sorted out and send that to you. Yeah, and I wish you all of the best. Health, happiness and healing. I'm going to close out by saying that a chapter is closed on my life personally. I'm not going to overshare here, but it's been 17 years in the making. It's been really difficult. Just whatever you're going through, never give up hope. Keep pressing forward. I'm theistic. I believe in God. So yeah, call out to God, try that. And things can change. Reading books a lot helps me, and being with good people helps me. The people you surround yourself with is really important. So yeah, all of the best, and I'll let you know how this goes.